I am committed to working with you and our colleagues to pass a bill through this Congress that finally fixes the longstanding financial problems of the Postal Service. Postal Service has been a critical linchpin of the American fabric since 1775. It employs 650,000 people and is the foundation for a more than $1.7 trillion mailing industry that employs more than 7.5 million people. Today's hearing serves to inform Congress of the reforms necessary to return the Postal Service to viability, financial health, and to ensure that postal services survive well into the future. These efforts are not new, certainly not new to me. I was elected to Congress shortly after the lame duck session of 2006, in which the Postal Accountability and Enhancement Act was passed into law under the guise of being a reform bill. I believe, however, that that bill is the root cause of much of the Postal Service's financial difficulty and decline. For nearly 15 years, the Postal Service has struggled to comply with that law, especially the prepayment requirement, a unique obligation no other entity in the world is required to meet. Congress has an obligation, having created this problem in its own legislation, to fix it. And that's what the USPS Fairness Act provision does. The pre-funding requirement requires the Postal Service to pay between $5.4 and $5.8 billion each year for 10 years into the Health Benefits Fund. But a decrease in revenue starting around 2006, coincidentally, forced the Postal Service to forego the required prepayments since 2010. Postal Service currently has roughly $35 billion in unfunded retiree health care benefits because of Congress's last-minute decision in 2006 to require an onerous pre-funding. The money sits in a Treasury account waiting to fund the health benefits of those not yet born even, when it could be used to fortify a struggling Postal Service, to replace vehicles, for example, that are now on average 25 years or older, that literally explode and endanger the workforce in the second largest vehicular fleet in the country. The language of the USPS Fairness Act would remove a manufactured yet real liability from the books, wiping the $35 billion of debt from the Postal Service's ledger books. The provision is not a panacea, but it is a critical pillar of the bipartisan comprehensive reform plan that we're focused on today. This provision removes the distraction of a multi-billion-dollar debt of Congress's own creation and gives the Postal Service time to build a practical business model that can be adjusted to the changes in technology and the marketplace. We have a moral obligation to fix the problem Congress created. Most importantly, the provision will allow the Postal Service to focus on serving the American people and delivering their mail and packages every single day, especially during a pandemic. I've been working for 12 years since I entered Congress to build broad coalitions of multifarious stakeholders who rely on the Postal Service for their businesses and nonprofits, and for veterans who get their prescription medications through the mail, rural Americans who rely on package delivery to make it through the pandemic, and individuals who pay their bills, and businesses who use the mail for their commercial transactions. I'm prepared to meet this moment and join with you, Madam Chairwoman, and my colleagues on the committee to enact meaningful reforms to deliver for this nation.